Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be looking in depth at the 2021 gubernatorial elections, and I'm going to start with Virginia. This election was initially not considered to be competitive, but after Glenn Youngkin won the Republican nomination, it heated up quite a bit, so let's get into it. In every gubernatorial election in Virginia, from 1977 to 2017, the winner was the opposite party of the president, with the sole exception being 2013, which we'll get to later. And so I'm going to go through some recent Virginia gubernatorial results. And so in 2009, Republican Bob McDonnell won significantly over Cray Deeds, and this was just 1 year after Obama won by 6. And so this was a 23-point shift towards the opposition party. In 2012, Obama won the state by 4, and Terry McAuliffe won by a little bit over 2 points. And so the state did still shift right a little bit, but the Democrat did still win. And this was a break in the pattern of the opposition party winning the Virginia governorship. But in this election, the Libertarian did take over 6% of the vote and probably caused McAuliffe to win over Ken Cuccinelli. And so the state did go blue, but did still shift against the president. In 2016, Hillary Clinton won the state by 5, and the next year, Ralph Northam won the state by 9. And so the state shifted 4 points against the Trump administration. Now, most recently, President Joe Biden won the state of Virginia by over 10 points in 2020, and the Virginia gubernatorial election is this Tuesday. So just by this historical data, it would be a pretty good guess to say that the state will shift away from the Democratic Party, but just by how much is the question. Virginia is a state that has been trending Democratic for quite some time now. In every election from 1968 to 2004, Virginia voted for the Republican candidate. And in 2000, President George W. Bush won the state by 8 points. And in 2004, he won the state by the same margin, roughly, despite the nationwide shift to the right, which is a sign of the state's leftward trend. And this trend was confirmed in 2008 when Obama won it by 6 points over John McCain in his landslide victory. In 2012, the state did shift right a little bit, but Obama did still win it by 4. And in 2016, despite Trump's victory overall, he lost the state of Virginia by 5 points, becoming the first Republican elected without Virginia since Calvin Coolidge in 1924. And finally, in 2020, Trump lost the state by over 10 points. So it's undeniable that the state of Virginia has gotten much bluer, and this is due to the suburban shift left across the country. Specifically in Virginia, it's the suburbs of Washington, D.C. that you can see here. So with all of that said, why do we think this race is competitive? Well, one reason is polling. Glenn Youngkin has had a poll surge and has taken the lead in both the 538 average and the Real Clear Politics average, leading by 0.6 in both averages. And a large reason for this is Fox News' recent poll, which has had Youngkin up 8 among likely voters. And generally, Fox News polling has not been very good, and usually they overestimate Democrats, but I really do not see Youngkin winning by 8. But the key is the momentum. You can see Glenn Youngkin was trailing McAuliffe in the polls for basically the entire race, and now he's taken a lead. And you can see, going down to older polls, McAuliffe was leading by a lot more earlier in the race. And now even his best polls only have him up by 4. And the Washington Post is notoriously Democratic biased. And so Youngkin does have the momentum here. And another reason Youngkin is leading is because he has ran a very good campaign in recent history for a Republican. Aside from the opposition to the incumbent administration, which is absolutely helping him, it's because he has good optics, specifically for the suburban areas that have shifted left so much in the past decade. His family man type message is a good way to appeal to suburban families that are moderate voters. Another reason for this is because Terry McAuliffe's campaign is kind of horrible. A lot of his early campaigning relied on him trying to tie Glenn Youngkin to Donald Trump, and while that may have seemed like a good strategy since Trump did lose the state by 10 just under a year ago, it really didn't work for him. And he also made a serious blunder in a debate, which I think if he loses will be the main reason for his loss. And it's that he said that parents shouldn't have any say in what schools teach their children, which is an extremely unpopular position in the suburbs. And even though it was very unpopular, he doubled down on it. And I think that's one of the reasons that Youngkin has surged in the polls recently, because you can't say something super unpopular in the suburbs in a state like Virginia, where the suburbs is a huge portion of the vote and leans in your favor, and then completely go against that. That's just a recipe for losing, in my opinion. Now, do I think Glenn Youngkin's going to win? 2 months ago, I would have said he has no shot. However, Terry McAuliffe's horrible campaigning mixed with Youngkin's moderate message and good optics lead me to believe that this race is going to be extremely close. Personally, I do still think McAuliffe's going to win, but very narrowly. My prediction is McAuliffe plus 1.2, so tilt Democrat. I won't be surprised if Youngkin wins, but right now I do think McAuliffe is the narrow favorite to win. The second governor race happening on Tuesday is New Jersey. New Jersey is a much less competitive race, but it's still interesting to look at. The election is between incumbent Democratic Governor Phil Murphy and Republican Jack Ciattarelli. New Jersey voted for Joe Biden last November by 15, so it's considerably more Democratic leaning than Virginia. But polls do have it closer than initially expected. The Real Clear Politics average has Murphy leading by 8.7, and so he is leading by a decent amount. And his slimmest polling on 538 has him leading by around 4. And so I do think the slim polls are going to be outliers. And while I do think Ciattarelli will do relatively well for a Republican in New Jersey, I do still think he's going to win by 8 to 11 points. So that's somewhere in the likely to safe Democrat range. I think I'm going to call it safe Democrat because I just don't see Murphy losing by anything lower than 10. The closest I see this race getting is a 7-point win for Murphy. So even in the worst case scenario for the governor, I do still see him winning convincingly. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. If you liked the video, leave a like and hit the subscribe button to see more, and leave a comment and let me know what you agree with and what you disagree with, and what else you'd like to see. So thanks again for watching, and have a great day.